Hour of Devastation story, Chapter 8, Hour of Devastation. Liliana. Liliana stared in shock at the empty space that Jace had occupied just moments before. The fight against Bolus was a disaster, as she had feared it would be. She had still been hoping Jace could come up with some plan when he screamed in agony. It was a scream she knew well, the scream of the dying, the primal scream of life not wanting to end. Liliana shivered. He can't be dead. He planeswalked before the end. I saw it. He's alive. That was your mind expert, I believe? Do you have a spare? I could wait. I promise not to listen if you shout at each other. Nicol Bolas lingered on each word, his voice rumbling through the open plaza, punctuated only by the continued thwops as he bounced Gideon off the wall. Liliana raged inside. She had known this fight with Nicol Bolas was a terrible idea, and every misguided intervention and distraction trying to help the doomed inhabitants of this plane only furthered her certainty. The group was ragged and reeling and in no condition to confront a planeswalker as powerful as Bolas. She would have left already if she hadn't pushed the group past its breaking point with her machinations to defeat Razaketh. Several times she had weighed staying with the group against abandoning them, but she felt her investment in them justified staying. Perhaps she had made the wrong choice. But that wasn't the only reason for her rage. A long time ago, back on Innistrad, she had compared her feelings for Jace with those she would have toward a dog, a house pet. The boy had been stung, as she had intended. Liliana cared about her pets. Usually tampering with anyone who belonged to her was a fatal choice. She hungered to show Bolas the consequences of his folly. Yes, use us. Unleash your power, whispered the chain veil hanging at her side. You have never been such a fool as to think you could win this battle, Liliana, whispered the Raven Man. Perhaps that was the biggest reason for her rage. She wanted her mind to be hers alone again. If she was going to fight Bolas, she knew she would have to use the chain veil, and with it the spirits of the Onaki dead. It gave her great power, but that power always came at a cost. Every time she used it, she risked death or complete subjugation to the Onaki spirits within. Neither fate was tolerable. There was a lull in the fighting as Chandra and Nissa dealt with their own shock at the loss of Jace. Nothing the three of them had done so far had been effective against the dragon. Nicol Bolas turned toward Liliana and smiled, a grotesque display of teeth and arrogance that Liliana found repulsive, not least because she recognized that she was prone to giving the same smile to vanquished enemies. Liliana Vess, it is so good to see you again. Your complexion looks remarkably healthy. Bolas did not even try to mask his condescension. Her fingers twitched toward the veil. I'm going to kill you, Bolas. I will see you die, and then reanimate your corpse to... Oh, please, Nicol Bolas cut her off. These children lost this battle before they were even born. You know this. You alone amongst them know what true power was. You alone amongst them know what true power can be again. The dragon did not lie, but she thought again of Jace's final scream, of the boy planeswalking blindly away. The etched runes on her body and face glowed a dark purple as the veil continued its insistent whispers. He cannot stand against you with our power. Use us! The dragon leaned his head down closer to Liliana, lowering his voice to a soft, smooth tone. I understand, Liliana. You join them, confident in your ability to manipulate. But the problem with surrounding yourself with fools is this. The dragon swiveled his head and taking in the rest of the scene. Even as Chandra and Nissa huddled close, trying to come up with a new plan. Every word he said was truth, and the truth was too much for her to bear. She stroked the train veil, drawing in the power she would need. Yes! The voices inside those golden links cried, Yes, we will destroy him! The dragon continued in his smooth voice. Do you know, Liliana, how to use a chain veil so that it doesn't rupture your skin or drain you of life? Do you know how to make the spirits of the Onaki serve you as their master instead of seeking the destruction of your soul and body? I do, Liliana. I do. He lies, screamed the Onaki at her head. Interloper! We will crush him! You know he speaks truth, Liliana. He can help you, the Raven Man. Shut up! She snarled at all the voices in her head, and they mercifully went silent. She was drawn out, exhausted. Did Nicol Bolas actually know how to unlock the chain veil? It would kill her one day. It demonstrated with every use she was not its master as it bucked her will and ravaged her body. Yes, it's a nasty weapon in the hands of the untutored, testament to your power and skill that hasn't killed you already, but I can help you unlock its power, Liliana. Its true power. Liliana let the veil drop limply to her side. She caught Gideon's eye. He had remained grimly stoic throughout his ordeal as Bolus's plaything, though he continued to careen into the crumbling wall. I need more from you than stoic silence, Gideon, she thought to herself. Liliana hated being uncertain of her next step. Bolus stared at her, his eyes black pools of malice. I promise you this. Whether you use the chain veil or not, if you fight me today, you will die. I am a better telepath than your mind mage, more destructive than your fire mage, more powerful than your elementalist, a better general than your so-called tactician. That each of you has lived so long is merely a function of how useful you can be to me. Nisha and Chandra approached together. Nisha's eyes glowed bright green and the earth rumbled under her feet, buoying her height by several inches. You lie, dragon, she snarled, her face contorted in a rare display of anger. He turned to her, amused. Lie? Me? Look around you, elf. We need if I to dissemble here. The rumbling under Nissa's feet grew more turbulent. Bolus straightened, his massive form once more towering over each of them. Liliana, go. Leave if you want to live. The safest place in the multiverse is a place where I have use of you. They were not going to win today. That was clear. As Bolus himself had said, these children lost this battle before they were even born. It was true. What were they going to fight for? To die? This was ludicrous, even for them. She looked again at the space where Jace had been, his agonized screams echoing in her mind. She felt something wet at the corner of her eyes, but willed it away, refusing to show weakness to anyone. She didn't know what made her turn to the others, but she did it anyway, the words coming before she could stop them. Come with me. We've lost. You can see that, right? We're not going to win today. We can regroup, find Jace, figure something else out. She didn't care that Bolus could hear her. He knew they didn't have a chance today, and he wouldn't believe they would have a chance in the future. He's right, whispered the Raven Man. The chain veil was silent. Chandra would not meet Liliana's eyes. Nissa shook her head. The anger on Gideon's face was obvious, but he offered no argument, no plea to change her mind. She was unused to the swirl of emotions she felt. Better she had just left, uncaring of their fate. Please, if you stay here, you will die. This is not the way. She hated the pleading in her voice, but she let her words stand. Did he not respond? She turned back to Bolus. Where? Where do you want me to go? She swallowed uncomfortably, finding it as hard to speak these words as the others. No! Chandra screamed. No! We trusted you. I trusted you. No! Chandra's head and hands burst in flame anew. You knew who I was, child. You knew. But those words she could not say aloud. Away, Bolus said. Away. I will find you, and then we will talk. There's so many useful matters to discuss. Go now, Liliana Vess. Her choices always led her here. Another betrayal, another disappointment, another trap. It was the comfort she found in the dead. They could not be betrayed. They could not be disappointed. They could not look at her with hurt and anger in their eyes. She looked at Chandra, wondering if she would have to strike her down to survive. The air around her was growing very hot. I don't want to kill you, Chandra. So leave, whispered the Raven Man. It was one of the few times she agreed with that damned voice. She surrendered herself in a glowing nimbus of dark energy and vanished into the void, her tears finally free to fall in the empty spaces between worlds.